Most people want to make money from trading, but very few have a plan that actually works. They jump from one idea to the next, hoping for big wins, but trading should not feel like guessing. If you want to earn consistently, you need something stable, something that gives you the upside while keeping you covered. This is what the hedging strategy delivers. It gives you a simple way to earn without risking everything. This approach has helped traders walk away with over $10,000 in just 7 clear steps. No tricks, just structure, timing, and a bit of patience. And with the right team behind you, it gets even easier. You are not doing this alone. You are doing this with people who know what they are doing. Before we go further, let's talk a bit about Exo Kapital. Some of you already know the name. You have seen it pop up before. But for anyone hearing it for the first time, Exo Kapital is the engine behind everything we are walking you through. It is not just another trading group, but a structured system built to help investors not only pass prop firm challenges, but also protect their capital in the process. That is what makes the difference. Whether you pass or not, there is a strategy in place that allows you to either get funded or recover your fee. That alone makes the risk far more manageable. Now, let's explain what hedging actually means. Think of it like this. You place a buy trade on your prop account, and at the same time, you place a sell trade on your broker account. The lot sizes are not equal, they are balanced with an optimized ratio. That's the key. This lot ratio is designed so that no matter which direction the market moves, one side makes more than the other side losses. That creates a small but safe pocket of profit. It is not gambling. Hedging offsets the standard speculative risk you find in most trading strategies. In simpler terms, it is like having a safety net, or even better, insurance. You may not use it every time, but it is there to catch you when things go wrong. And that changes the entire trading experience. The strategy works hand in hand with well-known prop firms like TopStep, FTMO, FXFI, or Funded Trading Plus. But for everything we are breaking down today, we are using FTMO as the main example. Their structure is clean and familiar, and it lets us show you exactly how the hedging strategy works when applied at scale. Using their 200,000 challenge as the base example helps make everything easy to follow. So now, the moment you hear $200,000, most people freeze. They think it's out of reach, too far, too much. But if you break it down the way I'm about to, it actually makes a lot of sense. And once it makes sense, the only thing left is action. So when you sign up for a prop firm challenge like this, the initial fee you pay on FTMO is about $1,200. That's just to enter. But this setup isn't like what you've seen everywhere else. There is more going on behind the scenes. It includes something called hedging collateral. Basically, it's extra money we hold aside so that when the hedge trades go in the broker account, we are not left scrambling. So let's put the numbers on the table. The total investment to run one 200K account under this plan is $5,200, 5,251 to be precise. That covers your challenge fee of $1,200 and the hedging collateral, which is about $4,000. That amount doesn't just disappear into thin air. It gets used carefully during the trading process. Now, just to be clear, no one starts with 6 accounts. Everyone starts with standard packages between 200 or 400K accounts. That's the base package. As you pass stages and build capital, you can stack more accounts over time. Within 1 year, it's possible to scale up to 6 of them. When that happens, you are sitting on a trading portfolio with 1.2 million virtual funds. But even then, your capital input was never anywhere near that number. Your working capital started at just $5,200 for one account. If you grow to 6, that becomes $31,000 total. That's your full buy-in across all 6 accounts. That's the big picture. This whole plan moves in steps. There are 2 challenge phases before your account gets funded. Then it moves into 5 funded trading stages. Each challenge phase takes somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks to complete. So altogether, you're looking at a timeline of about 3.5 months to maybe 7 months, but that's a rough range. Realistically, you're looking at 6 months. That's the average window, which also means you can run the whole thing twice a year. Now, that's out of the way. Let's get into step 1. Step 1 is where you put the first money in. This isn't the part where you get rich. This is the part where you commit, where you start. The cost here is about $3,100. That includes the FTMO challenge fee and the hedging collateral for first phase. You're going in with a goal. Your target is to make $20,000. That's a 10% gain on the 200K account. It's the requirement for passing the first phase of the FTMO challenge. You're allowed to lose up to $20,000 too. That's your max drawdown. So If you fall below that, you're out. Simple as that. But that's where the strategy comes in. There are two possible outcomes at the end of this step. Scenario 1, you pass. You meet the 10% target. At that point, your prop firm account is sitting at 220K. The broker account lost its collateral since we made the profits on the prop side. To go into phase 2, you'll need to put in another $2,000 for the next round of hedging. But let's say you decide to stop here for some reason. You would be down by the full $3,100 since there's no payout yet. Not ideal, but that's how it plays if you don't continue. Scenario 2, you fail. That's the risk. Your prop firm account drops to 180,000. You didn't meet the target. But this is where the hedging kicks in. On the broker side, you have made $1,280. Your broker account balance now stands at $3,200. That cushions the loss. That's what the hedge was there for, to reduce risk, to protect the capital. And it did its job. Either way, step 1 is all about setting up the system. You're laying down the first bricks. You're taking the hit or making the move. And whatever happens next, you don't stay here. You either push to phase 2 or you restart. Simple. Let's keep moving. We passed phase 1. That means we hit the 10% target. The account moved from 200K to 220K. That part is done. Now we step into phase 2. This time we are aiming for a smaller target. FTMO lowers the profit goal to 5%. So instead of trying to make $20,000 like before, you now only need to make $10,000 to pass. To move forward, you'll need to add $2,000 in the collateral. This amount is set aside as hedging collateral again, just like in phase 1. The idea here is to keep reducing risk and staying balanced even if the FTMO account does not meet the target. The loss limit stays the same. That means if your prop account drops by more than 10%, which is still $20,000, then you fail the challenge. That rule does not change between phases. Just like before, there are two ways this phase can go. Let's say we pass. You hit the 5% profit target and the prop account goes up to $210,000. The broker account loses the hedge. That $2,070 is gone. But again, there is no payout to the investor yet because you're still in the challenge phase. This stage is still part of the test, but if you pass it, you qualify for a funded account. That's when real money comes in. Now, let's look at what happens if you fail. The prop account drops to 180,000. That is a 20,000 loss. The broker hedge works again and you make a profit of $3,150. When you add that to the collateral, the broker account now has $5,220. So the net result is $0, no gain, no loss, but you have to go back to step 1 and start the challenge again. If we are continuing, let's say we passed both challenge phases. That means we are now officially funded. The next phase needs only $100 for the hedge. Now we are ready to go into the real trading phase. That's where the payouts begin. But before we go further, let's talk about something that matters. Passive income, real passive income, not the type people just throw around on social media. We're talking about a system where your money works while you go about your day. That is what Exo Kapital's FTMO management services is built for. You do not need to sit in front of a chart all day. You do not have to worry about the next big move in the market. You do not need to keep stressing over phases and targets. This service is made for those who want their capital to grow without doing the heavy lifting themselves. You bring the funds, Exo Kapital handles the process. From the challenge to the funding to the hedge, everything is already structured. All you need to do is getting at the right time and let the team take it from there. It is for investors who want peace of mind. It is for people who want freedom but do not want to walk the journey alone. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is slow, steady, and tested. You will see the trades, you will understand the steps, you will always know where your money is, and by the time everything adds up, the numbers will speak for themselves. Book a call with me to learn more and get started with the link in the description. I will show you how the plan works, what is expected, and how your capital can grow in the coming month. The earlier you move, the faster you get results. Now that we have got that part covered, let's move forward. You have come this far. Phase 1 and phase 2 are behind us. Now things get real. This is where the live account begins. Your prop account has been funded with $200,000. The payouts are real. It is no longer challenge phases. Every decision made from this point forward affects real money. That is why we stay cautious in this phase. No need to rush anything. We are moving forward with strategy. For this first funded round, your target is very small, just 0.05% of the account. That is about $100. Your maximum loss stays the same at $20,000. That rule does not change. Now the collateral for the hedge is only $31, very small compared to what you needed before. The reason it is this small is simple. We're targeting a small win to request the challenge fee refund and use it in next phase collateral. Now, let's look at both outcomes. If you pass this stage and reach the $100 profit target, then FTMO pays out $1,260, the profits you made plus the challenge fee refund, and the broker account loses $31. That money is gone, but the investor still gets nothing for now. The payout received, $1,260, is used for the next phase. This is how we stay funded and keep moving forward. If the FTMO account fails this stage, then your prop account balance falls to $180,000. The broker account gains $5,208. That puts the broker account total at $5,239 with the previous $31 we had on the collateral. The net is now $19, but since the challenge was not passed, everything resets. You go back to step one and start again. You should know this scenario never happens since the target is very low. Funded one or step three is always passed. If all goes well and we pass, then we are ready to move on the next funded level. Step four is coming next. This part is where the pace starts to pick up. We are now in the second round of the funded stages. The prop account is alive and active, and this time the target is not as small as before. It is still manageable though, especially when you consider how far you have already come. So here is what happens in funded two. Your hedging collateral for this stage is $1,260. That is the money you provide to protect the system just in case the trade goes the wrong way. The profit target for this round is about $4,200. That is about 2.10% of the 200K live account. Again, the maximum loss limit stays at $20,000. That part does not change throughout. Now, just like every other stage, there are two things that can happen. If the prop account passes the stage and hits the $4,200 target, then there will be a payout from the prop firm. That payout is about $3,400. In that same scenario, the broker account loses to $1,200 hedging money and the prop account rolls to $204,000 roughly. But even though there is a payout, the investor still does not take home money yet. The payout goes back into the structure to help cover future hedging collateral. The net at this point is a negative $1,800 if you stop here. That just shows how the investment keeps moving forward. Now, on the other end, if the prop account fails this stage, then things change. The account drops to $180,000, but the broker account gains $4,300 in profit. That brings the broker account to a total of $5,580. The net position here becomes $360. And of course, if the challenge is failed, then we return to the start, back to step one. But for now, let's stay on track and move forward. Things are starting to look real now. We have entered funded three. By this point, the rhythm should feel familiar. The prop account is live and active with a new target. This time, the goal is about $10,000. That's a bit less than 5% of the prop account, which is now sitting at 200K. To be part of this phase, the hedging collateral you bring is a bit less than $3,400. That's your seat at the table. The max loss is still 20K, same as before. And just like earlier rounds, there are two ways this can go. Let's say you hit the target. That means the prop account climbs to $209,642. The broker account loses the $3,394 you invested as hedge, but the prop firm pays out $7,713. Now, finally, you as the investor receive something. After accounting for the hedge, what you walk away with is $1,189. That's the first actual cash reward you can pocket. No reinvestment here. You're allowed to take it if you want to stop it at this stage. But of course, if you want to compound, you can keep it. Now, let's talk about the other possibility. If the prop account fails during this stage, the prop account balance drops back to 180K. On the broker side, that hedge you put in turns into profit. The broker account ends up with $8,500. That's a $5,100 gain. And after everything is added up, the net for you becomes $3,294. So again, just like all the steps before this, if it fails, you go right back to step one. You just rinse and repeat. But with every stage that passes, your potential payout becomes bigger. And this one brings a payout you can actually enjoy. Let's keep it going. Step 6 is next. This next step starts to feel different. You can sense the weight of how far you've come. Everything is louder now, bigger numbers, bigger pressure, but also bigger rewards. So here we are at funded 4. This time your target is $16,000. That is 8% of the 200K account. The hedging collateral needed to enter this phase is about $5,300 that we took from previous phase profits. That amount goes straight into the broker account and gets locked for the hedge. Now, the rules stays the same. Max loss is still 20K, and just like before, two paths can play out. Let's talk about what happens if the prop account passes. That means the prop account grows to $216,000. The broker account will lose the $5,300 used for hedging, but the prop firm payout will be $12,800. Once the next hedge is subtracted, your net gain is $3,399. And don't forget the $1,189 profit you made in the previous phase. When both are added up, you walk away with $4,921. That is the clean payout if you decide to stop here. No reinvestments. That money is yours, but of course, you can still keep going if you want. There is one more level. Now, let's say the prop account fails. In that case, the prop account drops to $180,000 again. But on the broker side, your $5,300 hedge turns into profit. The broker account ends up with about $10,000 balance. That is a $4,640 gain. So after all deduction, you're left with $3,551 in your pocket. Then you go back to the beginning. At this point, every decision matters more. Every trade gets a little tighter, but the progress is real. You have built up something step by step. One more to go. Step 7 is the final step. Everything leads there. Let's see how it all wraps up. So everything feels real now. You've come this far and this is it. Step 7, the final stretch. No more waiting, no more wondering what's next. You're here and the goal is clear. For this round, the target is set at $18,000. That is exactly 9% of the prop account. The hedging collateral we need is $6,000 that were taken from previous profits on step 6. This goes into the broker account, just like before, locking in protection in case things don't go as planned. The prop firm gives a $20,000 max loss limit once again. Nothing new there. But this time, the reward is what changes everything. If the prop account hits that $18,000 target, you win. The prop firm pays you $14,400. The broker account takes a hit and loses the $6,000 hedge. But you will still walk away with a net profit of $5,500, counting the next hedging required collateral for step 8 that will not be talked about here. That is your reward from just this final phase on step 7. Now, add the earlier payouts. You got $1,189 from funded 3. Then about $3,400 came in from funded 4. Now this one adds $5,500. Altogether, that is $10,091. You did all that in 6 months. But what if the prop account fails? You do not walk away empty-handed. The hedge kicks in. The broker account grows to $10,643, and your profit from the broker side is $4,640. After subtracting the cost to rinse and repeat, your net profit is about $2,700. So we start again, you get $2,700 in your pocket, and step 1 kicks in again. Now, think long term. If you repeat the cycle and go twice in 1 year, you're looking at $20,000. With a 400K portfolio using the same method, twice in a year, your share becomes $40,000. If you scale up to 1.2 million, you're now looking at 120K in total profits. That's the 10K per month mark. That is how it works. Start with $5,200 per account and run 6 accounts using this method. By year's end, your share is 120K. Every phase builds on the last, every decision gets you closer, and in the end, this is what you worked for. Let me say this now. If you have made it this far, then you already know what the process is and what the numbers look like. You have seen how the phases stack up and how everything is laid out step by step. At this point, the only thing left is your decision. Let's be honest, most people talk about financial freedom, but only a few actually take the steps that lead to it. We're in a time where peace of mind is expensive. We have already put in the work, built the structure, and tested the strategy. All you need to bring to the table is your readiness. Let me say this clearly. If you're still with me at this point, then you've already seen how this works. You understand the structure, you understand the numbers, you've seen the risks and how they are handled. This is not a guessing game, this is mapped out. Now, let's talk about what really matters. For most people watching this, the goal is not to get rich overnight. It's not about escaping work or chasing some online dream. It's about securing what you've already built. It's about growing your capital in a smart and controlled way. If that's where your head is at, then you are in the right place. This strategy is not like the rest. We are not betting on wild trades or hoping the market moves a certain way. Every step is backed by a hedging model that has one purpose. And this purpose is to reduce risk. That is the core. That is what sets this apart. You're not putting your money in danger. You're placing it inside a structure that was built to protect it while giving it space to grow. And I want to be clear on something else. That is not open to everyone. We are not running ads begging for signups. Our business model is based on profit splits. We receive 50% of the net profits. That means We only earn when the results are real. That also means we do not need to take on everyone who applies. In fact, we average just 1 or 2 new investors per month. That is it. This is how we keep the standard high. That is how we keep the whole thing sustainable. So if you're someone who values control, who wants transparency, and who understands that consistency beats hype every time, then book a call. We will talk it through. You will see everything in detail. If you are eligible, we move forward. If not, no harm done. This is not about pressure. This is about fit. And if this fits you, now is the time to move. Let's talk. Let's build something solid. Some people will keep waiting for the right time, but time will keep passing and nothing will change. Others will take action. They will build something solid, something that gives them peace of mind and room to breathe. This is what Exo Kapital is creating here. We are not just trading. We are building structure. We are scaling wealth the smart way. With every step, we stay in control and protect the money. It is about growing your portfolio while keeping your risk in check. The work has been done. The method has been proven. The system is ready. All that is left is your decision. Come in and let's get started.